The village of Jiwa was alive with the hum of preparation for the annual harvest Thanksgiving. This was no ordinary day, it was a tradition that brought everyone together to celebrate the fruits of their labor and to thank God for His blessings. From sunrise, families bustled about, packing baskets with yams, cassava, and vegetables, all to be offered at the church altar. The entire village was painted in vibrant colors of joy, but one home sat quiet and somber. Amara, a widow, sat under the shade of the old mango tree outside her small hut. She watched her 5-year-old son, Kina, play with a stick drawing shapes in the dirt. His laughter warmed her heart, but it couldn't drown out the ache of her reality. Her fields were barren, and her hands were empty. She had nothing to bring to the Thanksgiving service. "What kind of mother has nothing to offer God?" she whispered, her voice breaking. Kina ran up to her, his big, curious eyes peering into hers. "Mama, why are you sad?" She hesitated before cupping his small face. "I'm not sad, my son. I'm just thinking." And then, as she looked at him, an idea blossomed. It was bold, unthinkable even, but it came with a strange sense of peace. The next morning, the entire village gathered at the church. The air was thick with the scent of fresh produce and the sound of joyful hymns. Amara walked hand in hand with Kina, her steps steady despite the curious stares at her worn wrapper and bare hands. When her turn came, she approached the altar, her voice trembling as she spoke. "Father Joseph," she began, addressing the priest, "I have no harvest to bring this year, but I will give something far more precious. I offer my son, Kina, to serve in this church as an altar servant from this day forward." The church fell silent. Every eye turned to the small boy, who stood wide-eyed but unafraid. Father Joseph looked at Amara with a mix of surprise and admiration. "A mother's sacrifice," he said solemnly, "is the greatest gift. Your faith is a blessing to us all." At the back of the church, Mr. Adama, the wealthiest man in the village, leaned forward. Known for his generosity, he rarely spoke during public events, preferring to observe. But this act moved him deeply. After the service, he sought Amara out. "Woman," he said, his voice gentle yet firm, "your faith has humbled me. From today, I will see to it that your son is educated, not just here, but to the highest level possible. He will go to university." Amara dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you, sir. May God bless you." From that day, Kina's life changed. Under Mr. Adama's sponsorship, he attended school and quickly excelled. Despite his studies, he remained devoted to the church, serving every Sunday with diligence. His small hands grew accustomed to lighting candles, arranging the altar, and assisting Father Joseph. The villagers began to speak of him with admiration. Years passed, and Kina, now 10, had grown into a bright and capable boy. One sunny afternoon, after a Sunday service, he stayed behind to clean the altar. The church was quiet, the air heavy with the scent of wax and wood polish. As he swept the floor, a faint smell of smoke caught his attention. Looking up, Kina saw tendrils of smoke curling from the roof. A spark from a nearby cooking fire had caught onto the dry wood. Panic surged through him, but he didn't freeze. Instead, he ran outside, grabbing a bucket and shouting for help. "The church is on fire," he screamed, his small voice carrying over the village. Without waiting for a response, Kina filled the bucket at the well and dashed back to the church. He threw the water onto the growing flames and ran back for more. His cries alerted the villagers, who rushed to help. Together, they battled the fire, and after what felt like hours, the flames were extinguished. Though part of the roof was damaged, the church was saved. Kina's bravery became the talk of the village. "The boy saved the church," they said. At the next service, Father Joseph praised him before the entire congregation, calling him a blessing from God. Even Mr. Adama, who rarely spoke in public, stood to applaud Kina's courage. Amara, sitting in the front row, felt her heart swell with pride. The boy she had once offered as a humble gift had become the savior of the very church he was given to serve. Years later, Kina would go on to become a highly educated man, respected across the region. But no matter how far he went, he always returned to the small village of Jiwa and its little church, the place where his journey began. His mother's sacrifice, born out of faith and desperation, became the cornerstone of their blessings. The story of Kina's offering and the fire lived on in Jiwa, passed from one generation to the next. It was a tale of faith, courage, and the incredible power of giving, even when you have nothing. And every year, at the harvest Thanksgiving, Amara sat in the front row, a living reminder of how a simple act of faith could change everything.